I'm gonna start off by saying if you're looking for a review on Warframe and whether or not you should play the game, this video isn't for you. This is just me ranting about how it's been for the last couple of years. So first things first, this game has had a lot of really bad updates in the last year or two. We get maybe one story update a year and maybe a new world or game type like Railjack every 2 years. So specifically about story stuff, we get a story update and the actual story content that lasts maybe an hour or an hour and a half if you're caught up, and it is just disappointing. It is just so they seriously need to work on bigger updates rather than these extremely small lacking updates. And then the big thing with these small story updates is obviously they come in a new weapon or a new Warframe, but the thing with these items are they usually lock them behind extremely large grinds. And you might be saying, why don't you just have resources farmed already? Well, I do, but a lot of these new weapons in Warframes require brand new resources that are on some other planet, or they just throw them into an old planet, and it is so stupid because you never use these resources again. They just add these resources to give you more grind, and it just shows how little content is actually in the game, at least when it comes to updates. All I'm saying with this is just please stop rushing these updates out. Actually take your time. People will be there to play your game, you know that. It already takes you 6 months, so why not take 8 months, right? So just so those updates are a little bit bigger, a little bit more meaningful to players who have 500, 600, 1,000 hours in the game. Okay, so now I'm actually gonna start complaining about stuff, not just the story. So the thing is with the open world planets like Fortuna, Plains of Eidolon, and Heart of Deimos, is while they are all three really well designed, they're really great looking areas, and for it being in Warframe, it's really impressive. But after this third time with Heart of Deimos, I can't really get excited for new open world areas anymore. And the reason for that is because these open world areas are so shallow that there's basically nothing to do in them after you play them for 5 hours. You're just gonna be doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it gets so boring, and it's the same thing across Plains of Eidolon, Fortuna, and Deimos. And it's really disappointing because the world design of these areas, like I said, are great. Just content wise, there's really 5 things to do after you do the story content, because the main content, or quote unquote content, is grinding the same way you grinded on the last 2 planets, but this time it's an infested planet or a new Grenier planet or whatever they're gonna do next. Now, I'm not saying everything about these open world areas is bad. Obviously there are good things about them. The Necromech is really cool. I like that. It's one of my favorite things that's been added to Warframe in a while. Now, like I talked about before with new weapons and Warframes requiring a big grind when it comes to resources, because a lot of them will require new resources. Another thing that causes a big grind in Warframe is the time gating that they put into the game. So when I talk about time gating, I'm referring a lot to what it was like to get Hildren when she first came out. You had to get her through a syndicate, and the way syndicate leveling works is you're limited to how much XP you can get per day, which is kind of just disrespectful to the player's time in the first place, but it's also just weird and unnecessary. You should limit it to how much they can earn per week, if anything, because I might not want to play every day. I don't want to play every day to grind toward the next level, which is some item I'm never gonna use, or a painting for my ship, I feel like they need to make it a lot more accessible to a normal player, a player who's not gonna be able to play every single day, and just maybe they can play more on some days than they can on others, and so they can't really max out the amount of XP they can get per week. But if you limit it to how much XP you can get per week, then they could probably get a lot more than when you limit it to how much you can get per day. I feel like a good comparison here is Final Fantasy XIV. In Final Fantasy XIV, let's say you're doing a raid, and each raid gives you 1 token. Each of those tokens do different things. So let's say you want a new ring for your character. So you go for the token, it gives you a new ring. You get that token and you get a brand new ring. You could have got a token that progressed you toward getting a new chest piece or a new pair of pants, and you need 2 or 3 of those tokens to get that chest piece or pants. This system is really well done, and it keeps you coming back because you have a chance of getting at least 1 piece of gear each week from that raid or a series of raids. And in Warframe, all you're seeing when you're doing this weekly grind is a bar going up until you hit a new level and you get trash that you don't want for 8 more weeks. or however long it takes you to grind. So Warframe's system is overall a lot less rewarding than anything that most MMOs actually do. And while I could talk about gameplay issues for 20, 30, 40 more minutes, I don't want to make this video super long. So I'm going to go into the last thing that I want to talk about, which is the moderation. Oh no. I want to be quick with this. Their moderation is garbage, their management is horrible. They are really bad at their jobs from what it seems. I don't know, but something's wrong up at DE. There's just go look at Glassdoor and you'll see anyone that's worked there talks about how bad the management is. But anyway, their moderation team on every platform is horrible. There's so much like chat moderator abuse. They abuse their powers and most of the time nothing is done about it. And there was this one story recently, a player named Stalin Gulag got banned after getting mass reported by a group that's considered like the most toxic group on Warframe. And so after trying to get unbanned, they were like, no, your name's too offensive, blah blah blah. He's had that name for 7 years and only now does he get banned. So obviously that wasn't the reason why he got banned. He got banned because he was mass reported, and there is proof of that. Falsely mass reported, by the way. And so there is proof of that, but even if there's proof that he was wrongly banned, DE has a rule that says if you were wrongly banned, they still do not have to unban you. And that is like pretty much top tier trash policy right there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say I lost respect. I still like the top people up there, like Steve, Rebecca. They all seem like great people, but whatever is going on there really needs to be looked at and changed, and I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. So honestly, Warframe is just not in a great spot. Now, like I said, I could have gone on about the gameplay problems for like 20-30 minutes if I really wanted to, but I want to keep this video pretty short because it's kind of like what I do on this channel. I don't like make super long videos anymore. But yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you disliked it, dislike it, and tell me why in the comment section. And I am out.